Cool. Need testing, or are we good? Probably.
Give it a little bit.
Alright.
I want to catch up.
Those country games.
Yeah, a little bit of interference on there. Keep talking a little bit.
Okay. Just talking about random shit in the game.
Cuckballs.
Crack's got it covered over here.
Can't talk about that.
So, oh, by the way, do we need to play the intro or not? It's about 3 minutes. We don't usually play it for runs.
Whatever, man.
Doesn't really matter. 2-hour estimate's stupidly generous.
If you want to, I mean, if
I'll do without it.
Whatever you
I'll
wanna do.
stick with the normal. I don't have to menu to get my controls set. Alright. I didn't trust that. Alright, I'll get to the screen right after I finish this.
Whoa.
That's annoying.
143 still not there.
Alright.
Getting there. I am.
Into the clouds.
That load screen takes forever.
I really like the loading screen in this game, though.
You get very tired of them, especially because they freeze all the time. You like look at them and like the DK will just stop
slideshow.
running,
Right.
and just go like, "Son of a gun, I'm losing time." All right,
Ready whenever you are, man.
let's give it a little bit of time to stabilize. It's really dumb. This first load screen is variable depending on how long you sit on the world map before going in.
Okay.
It's like 30 seconds if you wait a minute. If you don't wait a minute, if you wait a minute, it's like 11 seconds.
It has to like buffer itself or something like that, it sounds like.
If you haven't figured out, loads in this game are very bizarre. I'll get into that a little bit more during the run.
Quality game right there.
Yeah.
Space games do sometimes have that problem.
Alright, let's do this. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Alright,
Good luck.
Donkey
yep,
Freeze.
this is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. This is the second retro-made Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Not to be confused with Retro Donkey Kong Country, which was made by Rare on the Super Nintendo. So we're starting off with the first level. Something you'll note if you watched like an AGDQ run or something, I'm actually not doing the co-op start. A lot of runners start with co-op to get Cranky as soon as possible. I don't do it because I'm lazy, and Cranky does not like to magnet to me for whatever reason. But if you start with 2 players, you can always have a partner Kong. And one of the things that's actually cool about this game is that each of the partner Kongs. Okay. Hello, grab the plug. Alright. Off to a lovely start. Alright. Each of the partner Kongs has some pretty cool attributes. Makes it a bit different from pretty much every other Donkey Kong Country where... Okay. Every other Donkey Kong Country, each partner Kong has just... Grab the barrel.
Diddy.
Yeah, I got thrown off by not getting the barrel there. Okay, come on. So every Kong has different stuff. Diddy's got the jetpack, so he gives you that little flutter. It's kind of like what Dixie did in Donkey Kong Country 2. Unfortunately, he's completely outclassed on land by a Dixie. Underwater, though, he is an absolute god. I'm not going to see a lot of Dixie for a little while, but basically she gets the exact same thing he does, except she actually can gain height. And then you have Cranky, who basically breaks this game for speedrunning. So... One nice thing about having a partner Kong, you'll see how you can do this infinite roll pretty much everywhere. That's if you don't have that, you have to roll jump everywhere. It's not a huge deal, except you lose a little bit of time every time you have to start a roll. So you'll see me try to minimize how many rolls I take. It's part of the reason Cranky is so good at this game, or in this game. One, two, three. Alright, and we are out of the first level. So, first world is kind of a tutorial-ish world. The first level, you'll notice there were pretty much no pits. There aren't any pits until at least the third level. Second level kind of teaches you a little bit more about swimming. The idea of it is that it'll give you Dixie Kong, so that you can kind of learn, okay, first level gives you Diddy, this is how Diddy works. Second level gives you Dixie, this is how to use Dixie. Third level gives you Cranky. We're going to skip Dixie for a majority of this level, though, because there's so much water, and Diddy is much faster than Dixie underwater. And Dixie doesn't give you really anything in this level, so we're going to go... So this game came out in, I believe, it was 2000 and I want to say 12 or 13. I can't remember exactly when.
Fairly recently.
Yeah, I know it was the game that got me to get a Wii U. I'm a pretty big Donkey Kong Country fanatic, and one of the big improvements they announced for this game relatively early was that they actually brought back the guy that did the Super Nintendo games soundtrack back. So the music in this game is just absolutely phenomenal. So you can see right there that jetpack. It's a swag trick I'm trying to go for to save like half a frame. Yeah, the jetpack underwater is really good. You also see that rolling lets you bounce on water, which lets us do stuff like that and get to this way sooner. If you do that the intended way without rolling across the water like that, you waste like 30 seconds. It's pretty stupid. So that's the nice thing about this game, though, is it was kind of built for speedrunning. So there are little like tricks and ways of getting to places quicker, almost all over the place. It's got one of the most in-depth leaderboard systems you'll see in any video game, which is pretty legit. Anytime you do a time trial, it saves all your inputs in your RNG seed. You can watch everybody that's ever done a time travel level. You can see the world record of a level at any given time. It made rooting out this game very quick because we had a pretty good idea of what was fast in almost every level quickly. Wow, I got that. I almost never get that trick. Alright, now I got Cranky. Get used to Cranky. We're going to be seeing a lot of him camera. Cranky allows you to preserve all your momentum and also keeps you from having to roll so much. And again, every time you roll, you lose in a tenth of a second. So kind of a nice little thing. So right here, that looks good. You'll see basically right here, I'm just doing full hops all over the place. I know if I hit a specific point with those full hops, I'm going to be able to do that every time. So. Alright, and there we go. That was a pretty good level, outside of the camera getting stuck. That kind of happens sometimes if you bounce off that fish there. Not really. It also will affect everything in this game, except for very few levels, is based on your camera position. So when your camera position's off, also where enemies and things are not necessarily where you're expecting them to be. So this level is an auto-scroller. There are two types of auto-scrollers in this game. Each of them are pretty different. I find them fun in their own little way, but especially these ones I actually really enjoy. This is a minecart level. Minecart levels actually have a lot of tech to go fast in them. So if you do this optimally versus suboptimally, you're saving like 2 or 3 seconds. So you'll notice basically if I'm going downhill, I want to jump at the very bottom. You jump up hills. It's relatively simple. You don't really see that big of a difference until you're actually really used to this game and you realize, oh wow, Those jumps really do save a lot of time.
What does it do? Retain your speed when you're going downhill? Or?
Yeah, it keeps you. When you go downhill, you go a little bit faster, and it just keeps that speed a little bit longer. And then when you go uphill, you're supposed to slow down. So you'll see it like right here. Oh, jumped a little bit late there. So really not a big deal. First auto scroller of the game, generally just getting used to stuff. So and getting hit by stuff doesn't actually lose time in this, which is nice. You'll see people kind of screw around on these all the time. Just kind of do whatever. So. You can see one thing they tried to add, especially for levels like this where it's very, you know, auto scrollers or anything like this, they've added that kind of dynamic camera where you're like spinning as you go around a tree. One of those things you just kind of get used to. When you first see them, it's a bit tricky sometimes to gauge depth or what's coming up ahead because of them, but I've done this level probably more times than I can count or care to know. Alright. On to the next one.
Does it matter which item you get from the end barrel there?
Nah, it used to kind of be a little bit more important. We used to go shopping and get a certain amount of tokens to try to get some items to make a boss fight in the game safer, but we stopped doing that because we found a very safe way of taking out the boss. So instead, we just... really, it doesn't matter. You don't wait for anything. You just kind of jump in when you can. You might have noticed I didn't start from a brand new file. That's just something the community did when the game first came out. The intro cutscene is 3 minutes and it's unskippable. And on top of that, the loads going into it and out of it are basically random. And you also have to set your controls after them if you do anything other than one of the defaults. Okay. I'm not going to lose... Okay, now I'm going to lose seconds. Trying for a trick there called God Cod where... you can hit those fish as quickly as possible to get him out of this cycle where he's just not damageable. And missed it again. Yeah. Used to be pretty consistent at that. I've kind of taken a bit of time off this game until very recently, so... fun fact, to see that starfish right there, we usually will play games to see how long we can keep those things alive. There's just like 5 of them that start, and sometimes you'll go like the entire thing, and none of them, like you'll keep them all, and other times they're gone after the first cycle. 6, 7, 8. Damage boost is intentional, just to be able to walk through them as soon as possible. Oh, dead starfish. The bosses in this game are a bit long. 2 of them I think are genuinely really well designed. This is just kind of your basic jump on his back when you can boss. So, the main tech in this fight is just killing everything that he throws at you as fast as possible. Ooh, this is one of my favorite parts. So this is, we call it early fat ass number 2. That was a really good early fat ass number 2. Basically, that's what I was trying to do with those fish earlier, is just hit them in midair. Right there, I just damage boost. It's technically slightly faster to go off to the side and jump on him, but it's really finicky on whether that's going to work or not, so... Alright, that's the first boss down. Alright, so that's the first world. I know what you're thinking, this game doesn't seem all that interesting, but the first world is kind of basic. It's not anybody's favorite part of this game. These next 3 levels are when things really start to get good. As the world record holder Michael Goldfish so succinctly put it, this is when the game starts actually giving stuff that will kill you, like pits. So from here on, I need to keep Cranky through the next, this level. There is no Cranky barrel here, and Cranky saves a solid, like, 20 seconds over Dixie, and 2-2. So if you actually watch the IL world record for this level in particular, it's actually fastest with Dixie because she can skip this one section, but it saves only like 3 seconds, which is nothing compared to what Cranky saves in the next level. So
I take it there's some IL strats that you don't really use in RTA.
Yeah, there are.
In a full run.
a lot of those. There's one level in particular. Whoa! I lost all my momentum there. I don't know what happened. That was a bit sketchy. So, again, you can see all that me using Cranky's pogos to try to... there's a couple things that does. It, again, reduces those rolls. The other thing it does, it's actually a higher jump than you can do without a pogo. A lot of other places I'm just doing it because it's fun to pogo. So right here is where Dixie can actually save time. Dixie can just jump as soon as she hits that and keep the momentum from the barrel and land. Unfortunately, you need to be able to flutter to do that, and Cranky just can't do that. So instead, we have to wait a bit, do our nice little pogos. So. Alright, cool. This level used to be one of my nemesises when I was running this game and grinding it very heavily. I would get to this stage all the time with a good time, and then I would just accidentally like hit a pit or something here. So getting through that without losing Cranky is really nice because this next level is one of the legitimately coolest in the run. So actually the next 2 levels are really cool. So the other thing that Cranky does with that pogo is he actually retains all of the speed that he has going into that. So there are these swinging platforms that we can roll off of that are actually going to be going... We can add our roll speed to the swinging platform speed, and we can keep that by using Cranky's pogo. It's got a really cool effect in this level. So when this game first came out, people were trying to figure out on the in-game leaderboards how to get to what's called Shiny Gold, which is the highest level of medal the game can give you for a time. And we couldn't figure out why it was so hard to get the Shiny Gold for this level, and then we realized that this momentum preservation is possible and completely opened up how this level worked. So, it's also the first Rambi level. Rambi is just awful. He's heavy, his rolls take longer to start than DK's. He's pretty much in every way the worst thing you can get in this game. But so you see right there, there's a little bit of a mini version of that boost. So taking the damage there isn't a big deal. It's just me trying to get through that section as quickly as possible. I just hopped off Rambi to get just a little bit of extra height. Alright, so here we go. This is probably the coolest section in the game, or in the early game. Okay. I was a bit hesitant there. That's not the biggest boost, and if you screw it up, you die, so... So you can see I was going really fast there. What you try to do with that is you try to carry that through this, hit off the top of this box, which gives you enough height to go across that. I am probably one of the least consistent of the top runners in that trick. I usually would just pull up if I wasn't if I didn't trust that trick at all. I would just pull up and do it safer. But it's one of the coolest strats. I am just off right now for whatever reason. Jumping a little bit too soon. If you jump and hit these boxes in midair, you lose all of your roll speed, which is not good. Because you're expecting to go a certain speed on your jump, and when you don't have that speed, obviously, it's very easy to just end up in a pit. So, the annoying thing about that is that I'm now starting this next level with solo DK, and this next level is a Universal Cycles level, which is... It's not the worst thing in the world, but it will make this a lot more difficult. Basically, this level has everything synced to the music. It's actually one of my favorite ILs just because there's stuff happening everywhere. Everything you do matters because if you make any tiny mistakes, it'll throw the rest of the level in flux. And there. Let's see what kind of a pattern I got. Okay, so far, not bad. Crack over here with his phone. Okay. Nope. So right there, if that platform is a little bit higher, I can go straight through. Because waiting for the cranky barrel cost me a bit of time there. Okay. And that happens if you're a bit slow. Alright. And we're through. So, outside of the beginning being a bit off, that wasn't too bad. I used to use Dixie in this level because she's about 2 seconds slower and much safer because her route for the level does not depend on the level cycles at all. And get up there. So, we have a weekly race of this. Wow, I missed the timing on that, really? Whenever we get to that point, we'll all start coughing and try to throw every other runner in the race off, since you listen for a specific audio cue. Looks like I was just a little bit late on the jump there. So after that stretch of 3 levels, which is probably, when you learn this game, those are the 3 levels that will wall you for a while. They're just really punishing and pretty difficult to actually master. You get the nice little auto-scroller. It's another one of the minecart ones. One thing that is fun is it turns into a log flume for a little bit. Just adds a bit of a different feel to the pretty standard DKC minecart level. So, also love the music in this level. It's pretty freaking awesome. So, one of the nice things about this compared to the original game by Retro Returns, they made a couple of changes. First of all, they shortened the games by quite a bit. It's only 6 worlds instead of 8, which was what it was in Returns. It's got a couple fewer levels, I think, but it's a pretty similar amount overall. The levels are in general a little bit longer as well, but they also kind of spread their auto-scrollers out. Returns was kind of notorious for having World 4, which is just auto-scrollers everywhere. They also added an extra hit point to your minecart or rocket barrel, depending on what the auto-scroller level is. So, in general, just the auto-scrollers are a lot more fun in this machine. So right here, this hill, never jump up that hill unless you're like going for IL world record, because you go faster across these things and that just screws everything up. I think the world record holder is kind of crazy. He actually jumps on those little platforms because it's like a frame faster each time you jump on those, but dying in that auto-scroller is pretty embarrassing and happens fairly often. When I was getting ready for this marathon, I actually died in the very end of that in a way I'd never done before, which was one of those moments you just kind of laugh and say, well, I've never done that before and I'll never do it again. Alright, so we're at basically the 10th level in the game, and this is finally when Dixie gets to show off a little bit of what she can do. You saw just the slightest bit at the end of 1-2. I'm going to grab her right here. Okay. So you can see right there, she can get that extra height. Basically, it's identical to Diddy's ability, except she can actually give you that. What it allows you to do is it allows you to cross larger distances than you can with any other character in the game, which allows you to skip some stuff. So the traditional way of thinking about it is Diddy's fastest if there's anything underwater, Dixie's faster if there's just large gaps with something underneath them, and Cranky is fastest every other time. Accidentally grabbed that. For some reason, jumping off these platforms, you can actually go faster forward if you hold the run button, but the run button also doubles as the grab button for whatever reason. So you have to be pretty careful to not hold the grab button near anything you can grab for a couple reasons. That's one of them. He also will lose all of his roll speed if he tries to reach out to grab something and doesn't grab it. And losing your roll speed is, again, just not good. Alright, so Wingding is kind of a pseudo auto-scroller. There's these vines we're going to grab onto and just kind of slide down. You can't speed up going down them at all. The main thing that matters, if I can pull this... well, I already screwed it up. There's a cranky barrel in the middle, so the barrels all operate on universal cycles. They stay on each character for about a second and they rotate to the next. Most of the optimization in this game, we knew which Kongs were faster where. The problem was we didn't really account for waiting for barrels anywhere. Like, oh, if you have to wait like 2 seconds for a barrel, it's obviously slower. So a lot of our optimizations have come in, okay, let's cut out a barrel cycle here. Let's get to this barrel and not have to wait for Diddy. Let's not have to wait for Cranky here. In this level, if you play perfectly, you can get to the middle of Cranky one cycle early. But, yeah. So when you're holding onto those vines, there's nothing you can do. You just have to make sure to not let go of the grab button. I missed a second cycle there. I could have probably taken that, but really didn't want to be without Cranky for this last section. These jumps are really tight for no reason. I have no idea why they're... I think the hitboxes for these vines are a little bit bigger than it actually appears, but it's always a scary jump. Right here, we get to do a nice little momentum boost. I guess I rolled a little bit too long there. Alright, moving on. This next boss is Scal. Scal is by far the best boss in this game. He gives you just enough projectiles to hit him. Basically, you're hitting her with her own babies, which is simultaneously cruel, but makes for a really cool boss fight. Don't know why Donkey Kong Country doesn't likes throwing eggs back at birds, but it does. So he's gonna give me always just enough ammo to take him out, basically. And Cranky's gonna let me use all of that. So here we go. He's gonna start off, he's gonna shoot off some feathers. And then he's gonna drop 3 eggs. So we need to... I thought I could pogo off of that. this cycle he's going to blow 3 eggs across this, like a wind tunnel. I have to grab the first, hold on to it. I'm going to hit the second one, leave it on screen. And I have to grab it right before it... I just missed that again. It's funny, I'd never done that until like 3 days ago, and that's the second time I've done that now. Where I actually just did everything perfectly and just missed the last egg. That hit's not a big deal. It's pretty easy to avoid his attacks. So the good thing about it is the second cycle is the hardest cycle, and it's also the least punishing. These other cycles, if I miss any hit, he'll do this entire thing again. So. Here, okay, I got a left spawn, or right spawn, that's pretty good. He's always going to attack from the right side. So now I'm going to hold on to this egg. You notice he only gave me 2 this time. It's because I need to actually physically hit him. There's a quick kill where you hit him with the egg and yourself simultaneously, but it's pretty much just an IL strat because we've never found a way of making it consistent. So it's a pretty average scowl. Nothing to write home about. So now we're getting to World 3. World 3 is probably everybody's favorite world when they play through this the first time. It's got this really, really neat African savanna feel to it. The first level everybody laughs, they call it the Lion King level. It feels like you're playing through like Hakuna Matata or something. It's another one of those global cycle levels, which is actually one of the cool things about it. This IL was absolutely stupidly ridiculous for... it still is, actually, but... it was one of the longest standing world records in the game until my good friend Mumu Akai actually broke it. And he broke it by total accident too, which was the best part. So I'm going to do something that no other runner this... I am not grabbing barrels today. I don't know what that is. Well, normally if I grab that barrel on cycle, I can do this without losing any time, but I'm going to have to... I already lost the cycle, so... Wow, I've never seen that before. So, that's the swag thing we do, is just hit that barrel regardless. I guess because I was there late, he just flew over to the left and got me. So, I'll have to pick up Dixie again over here. Alright, let's just do this with Frankie. Not as consistent at that with Cranky as I am with Dixie. Dixie, I could have just fluttered over to that. Dixie can also save a bit of time on this last cycle. So, I lost 2 cycles in this level, which is kind of meh. Yeah, it's a bit late in the barrel there. So normally I'll stick with Dixie the whole way through there. And start this next level with Dixie. It's about 2 seconds faster if you get a trick at the end there. If not, it's about the same speed. The difference is that Dixie makes this next level much harder to do optimally. So It's right there. I just avoided that flower, which is a nice little time saver. This level is really annoying to IL because I was trying to switch to Dixie there to kind of make this feel a bit more natural for me, since I'm not used to doing this middle section with Cranky. But did not work out. This barrel's in a really bad spot. And I'm just gonna baby this a little bit. I'm used to doing this with Dixie, so I was trying to switch there. Got a bit greedy. So then I would switch back here to Cranky to get ready for the next level. Bit of a wait here. Forgot to activate the puzzle piece. We've got a joke game where we try to bounce with Cranky over this puzzle piece that spawns at the end as many times as possible before that gets knocked in. I believe NK has what he claims to be an unbeatable world record with 5, where you just jump over a puzzle piece and without grabbing it. So, community for this game is really awesome. Love pretty much each and every one of them. So here's the infamous 3-3. If you watch the HDQ run, this is the one that Goldfish kept trying to get a specific trick to work. I am absolutely terrible at that trick. It's called Tornado-Cido. It's by far the hardest trick in the game. I'm going to try it, but I don't think I'm going to get much from it. So we'll see. I'm going to roll through this tornado. Yeah, I got nothing from that. So, if I don't get it, I usually will just grab this Ramby. Just to make this section a bit easier. Yeah, DeuceCon is just this insane IL strat where you can carry that speed from that tornado through the entire level. Okay, let me through. It's really weird. We don't know why it works the way it does. From my understanding of the game, it shouldn't work because it doesn't usually let you keep momentum from that unless you're either swinging on a platform or on ice physics, but for some reason those tornadoes allow you to keep that speed and then add a roll to them. Even better, and 100% that you have to actually collect all the Kong letters, and it's actually possible to get all the Kong letters while going that fast through the level. That was dumb. Where's that going to put me? Wow, that's a really weird spot to put me. I don't know why I've had so much trouble jumping off Ramby lately. Right there, I could have actually probably saved that by jumping off Ramby at the right time. But the input... Alright, I'll grab Diddy. The input on the control scheme I use is LZ, RZ, and down, and it's really finicky sometimes and just won't work. The weird thing is, it's really not that tricky of a section. I don't know what happened there. The nice thing about this with Ramby is that Ramby just runs across most of these little gaps. That little bonus barrel is stupidly trolly. If you go like really fast, you'll almost always hit it. See, like right there, that gap I just ran right across with Ramby. See, like right there, just abandon it. So whenever you abandon Ramby, you get that little bit of extra height, and then I can just use Dixie to flutter up to that. Dixie is the fastest Kong for the next level. It is actually slightly faster if you can end that previous stage with Cranky, and then grab Dixie at the start of the next level, but usually we don't bother because it's an absolutely tiny amount of time. So I'm going to do something we don't normally do anymore. This used to be we would go here for a shop to buy some banana juices, but I promised the rest of the community I would go here and buy one figurine. We got a Blue Hoots, okay. It was an in-joke in the community for a while that... No. Okay, exit the shop. We would always go to that in the middle of our races and just spend 5 coins and buy a figurine. I'm sure one of them is laughing in chat right now and trying to explain what Blue Hoots actually means for the rest of the run. I have no idea. I used to always refuse to do it because I was a tryhard that wanted to win every single race, but we had multiple months where the world record of this game bought a completely useless figurine and wasted multiple seconds doing so. That's what you get when the best person in your game is an absolutely lovable goofball like Goldfish is. So he's actually finally got the 100% world record now too. So 100% in this game is actually kind of cool. It's really more of an all stages category. I actually wanted to call it any percent all stages to kind of get rid of some confusion, but the game literally calls it 100% when you just collect all the con letters and complete every stage. Like, you don't even have to get every exit or anything, you just beat every level once. I probably should have gone for that, but... the one thing we never figured out in this game are those series of fire droplets. You can sometimes roll through them and sometimes can't. We don't know where they spawn and why. Sometimes you just roll through no problem, and others you're just like stuck and take a hit. Usually if you have 2 hits on your partner con, you just roll through and hope for the best because it's the same speed, but... So you might have noticed I bought 2 other things inside of that. Yeah, Farrell, you want to play this game a little bit? I bet you can beat this level frame perfect, dude. You ready?
Sure. Let's do this.
Alright, let me get to the barrel. I guarantee you got this. Are you ready?
Sure am.
Alright, gotta grab Cranky for the next level. You can grab this if you're like perfect. You can beat that cycle, but you don't go for it outside 100%. Alright. I want you to hold the B button.
Hold B.
Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna stretch my legs a little bit.
Oh man.
I forgot my phone. I was gonna take a selfie and chill out a little bit. You alright, Gary?
Yeah.
So this is a rocket barrel level. Basically, we call them Flappy Con because it's kind of the same basic thing. You're always moving to the right, same speed. Can't speed them up at all. The first one is really easy. In fact, it's so easy that getting to the secret exit, there are only 3 things that can actually hit you. So when I went to the shop earlier for the figurine, I also just went and bought 2 crash cards, which add an extra heart to your thing. So yeah, Farrell is actually doing this perfectly. So good job.
Dude, I was born to play this game. Yes.
Like I saw that Luffy paid off somewhere else, huh?
Yeah.
So, and this will be the last hit. And then there's a secret exit that's going to be right here. Perfect. You're natural.
Nice.
Good job, BD.
So.
Time to pick up this game.
Yeah, so we took a secret exit there. It basically halves the length of that level, and also, fortunately for us, goes to the fastest level of the 3 stages here. It's probably the most annoying stage in any percent because it's kind of long for what it is, and you have to do it 3 times. You do that secret exit, then you go to the end twice, then there's another secret exit at the end.
Scramble, scramble. Name sounds familiar.
Yeah, people always laugh because there is actually a remix of Sticker Brush Symphony in this game, and it's not on this level. I missed the bounce. If you do a jump right as you hit those bouncing platforms, you keep your roll speed. If you're a little bit late, you don't get it. See right there, I kept all of my speed. So, this is one of the coolest levels when it's done properly. Because you're just jumping out into what looks like nothing the entire time, and then like something will just pop up and catch you. Missed the end, but it's still gonna work. So, just take the damage boost there. No reason not to. It's actually a lot better than that's been going for me lately in practice. For some reason, that level, you're either kind of in the zone on it and you just do it every time, no problem, or you just can't do it to save your life. Yeah. This is probably the most annoying boss in the game because there's just... this game, until this point, has had very little RNG that would actually impact the run. This guy has enough RNG where he can actually knock you off world record pace if you've been playing perfectly to this point. You can lose like 50 or like 30 seconds to this boss, and there's not really that much time to save. Weirdly enough, the world record for this was set in a showcase race, and every piece of RNG basically went perfect, on top of Goldfish just playing like an absolute madman. So we have some new strats, but if these guys do not cooperate, you are not able to get world record, which is really kind of frustrating. So you'll see each of these guys, they change colors when you hit them. They're going to go right back to being that dark blue. They take 3 hits each. Once they take 3 hits, they move on to the next phase. This is the phase with the RNG. And of course, he's going to get just low enough for me to whack him. So... they can not go high enough, or they can just like just ruin your run. So you can see I'm gonna leave that guy over there and just kill this guy, which will push them on to the next cycle. If you don't do that, they'll go back over to the side, and I have to hope for him to go low enough, and it also just wastes time in general. So okay, so they always will throw the bomb to the area that they spawned all the guys. So they're gonna kind of chill out, throw stuff. You can like hang out below them and they'll swing the hammer at you if you hang out there long enough. Missed the Kobe. So, right here, he's got the 2 little mirages. I just need to make sure I don't get... I've never seen that before. I didn't pull out the cane there, and I still got him while I was swinging the hammer. I've never seen that. Just gonna lose Cranky here. Doesn't matter for the next stage. Though, missed the fill shot too. I've never seen that before, though. Basically, those guys are treated, when they're swinging upright like that, they're treated as having a spiked hitbox on their head. The other guys think it's because of the helmet. I always thought it was just because they're swinging the hammer like that, but you can hit him while using Cranky's cane. I didn't pull out Cranky's cane there, and it still counted as a hit on him without damaging me. I've never seen that. I don't think it's useful for anything, but that's really interesting. So, World 4 is my favorite world in the game. This is the water world. Water levels in this game are actually just absolutely fantastically designed, with the exception of one that's actually done in any percent. The only thing that's annoying about water levels is the game makes you choose between D-pad or analog stick, and analog stick works really well underwater for the 3D movement. That's not good. So I like D-pad just because I grew up playing like Donkey Kong Country 2 on the SNES. It feels more like that if you're playing on D-pad, but that is one unfortunate downside of it. The other one being that I'm fairly certain you don't actually have to hold the run button if you're using analog stick. I'm sure someone else will correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna lose one underwater cycle. To kind of compensate for the fact that you go slow underwater, the game actually doubles the length of cycles underwater, so missing cycles underwater is kind of annoying. You see, I gotta wait all this time. I'm gonna play this a bit safe. And I'm still gonna do that. So I'm switching to Dixie here. Dixie can fight currents underwater. Every Kong has a different ability underwater. You'll see Cranky's for the boss because darn, no RNG heart. Gotta play this a bit safer than I'd like. If I lose Dixie, this run basically goes a lot slower than would be acceptable. So right here, this is another secret exit. It's honestly the worst secret exit in the game to try to find casually. It's just so bizarre and out of the way. This next level was one of my favorite ILs to do. It's actually one of only 2 that I've actually held the IL world record for. I basically just accidentally found a new strat at the very end of the level for the IL, and after grinding it out for just forever trying to actually take it. Music here is really good. It's a combination of Lockjaw Saga and Aquatic Ambience, which is just an incredibly cool combination. So let me see if I can get this opening. Yes! I love that trick. So I'm gonna get this Diddy, bounce off that. That opening is a lot harder than it looks because everything is moving. So now I can get to this next barrel in time for the Cranky cycle. I'll walk just a little bit, pogo off of that. Didn't get any what we call woohoo skips, where you keep Donkey from bouncing out of the water real high and yelling woohoo, but... And boom, into the secret exit. That was pretty damn perfect. So... That little trick at the end used to be a lot scarier. You would have to bounce off of that last one, basically blind, and try to grab the vine to jump into that. We discovered a setup where you just roll off and then just do full pogos, and it looks like you're gonna get hit by the last one, but you'll just bounce off it and do it. There is a way of doing that with Diddy, which saves a lot of time on this level, but it's relatively new, and it's also much more punishing and difficult to do because you have to bounce off this one owl at the very top of its jump, get a full bounce off of it, which is actually a lot harder to do than you would like, and then you have to grab a vine that's like swinging left and right. So this is by far the worst level in the game, and unfortunately we're stuck doing it in any percent because it skips 2 levels to not do the other route. It wouldn't be so bad if the other route didn't have 3 of my favorite levels casually. Like, they're just really good levels. One of them is what I call the true boss of this world. It's Irate 8, where you're being chased by this giant octopus, and it's this really intense level. And problem is, it's like a 2-minute 20-second level, and then you've also got to do what is the best minecart level in the game, but it's still an auto-scroller, and you've got... Unfortunately, we don't get to do any of the silhouette levels. Oh no, we do one silhouette level in any percent, but there's one underwater silhouette level that is unfortunately skipped in any percent. So part of the reason 100% is just such a good category is that you do all these like really cool levels that just aren't in any percent. So in addition to doing those in 100%, you're also doing the K stages, which are kind of just known for being these really difficult stages, and you can do them really quick if you know what you're doing. They're still really hard is the thing about them, so... And there's no checkpoints on K levels, so you're just stuck. If you die on them in a 100% run, a lot of times it's almost run over because you would have lost like 40 seconds and your Kong partner. So, something that's really hilarious about this level, at least for when you're a veteran watching a new person do this run, everybody drowns in this level once. You'll notice I have a little air meter next to my Kongs, and if that runs out, you just start taking like damage really fast. And every single newbie runner has drowned in this level at some point and had to do the entire 3-minute level over again. So, I actually had a PB where I did that once, and I was just absolutely livid, because you'll always get right to the end, and you'll be like right up to the barrel, and then you'll drown, and you'll just go, you know, life is cruel. So, C-Stack Attack is, Spike used to consider this the hardest level in any percent. I don't agree with that, mainly because the punishes on it aren't nearly as bad as some of the later levels, but to do this level really well is actually very difficult, so... Yeah, I already screwed up. So, I was practicing this in ILs earlier. ILs are a little bit different because you never start with the Buddy Kong. So I gotta wait for Cranky here. Right here, kind of an annoying. This game doesn't have much areas where you legitimately have to stop. This is one of them. You have to wait for that platform to fall. And in. So right here, this section always is pretty scary. Don't know why it lets you do that, but you can skip that if you time that just right. It wouldn't have mattered because I was on a different cycle anyway. I was switching to Diddy there anyway, so losing Cranky didn't matter. Alright, I am not going to go for what's called crate skip. You can jump off to the side and hover into the barrel, but I've been just awful at it in practice lately, and I'd have to do that entire last section over again if I missed it. It's not worth it for that, it saves a couple seconds, but it's really easy with Dixie. All you do is jump below and flutter up to it. With Diddy, you have to time it where basically right as you get to the bottom of it, you actually start your hover, and then you hold right, and you go into it. So... This is the last really heavy water level. There's a couple of ones later on that have a small amount of water in them, but not nearly as much as this level. It's another one of those levels. The thing about water levels in this game, and the reason that I really love them, is they're really difficult to optimize for speedrunning. You can see there's just so many movement things, and then any bonk, like that one's not huge, but if you bonk in a water level, it's like a silent time loss. Like, you just are going to lose time if you bonk, and it's surprisingly a lot. So, they're not hard to do. Okay. Did not want to let me hit that. They're not hard to complete compared to some of the other levels where you'll die on them or whatever, but doing them optimally at any given time. Wow. I meant to wait this out a little bit. Like right here, that bonk especially, probably cost me 2 seconds. Get out of there. What are you bonking on? I thought I pushed down there, which would have angled that down a little bit. I guess I just missed the input. So. something. I'm just gonna go around the slow way. Get a damage boost there and gone through, and it probably would have been a little bit faster, but I'd rather keep Diddy at this point. It's another one of those little areas where it's just kind of a little bit of a stop. That's why the death there kind of actually was a bit annoying, because there really wasn't anything going on. All I had to do was angle that one down. I'm gonna place the damage boost. And there goes Diddy. All my cycles were just totally thrown off there. Thankfully, swimming with solo DK is actually the second fastest way of swimming behind swimming with Diddy. For whatever reason, him being able to cancel him doing that like this is actually faster than the full like spiral thing you can do with a Buddy Kong underwater. So. So this is Fugu. This is the boss we used to buy banana juices for. Banana juices give you, when you get hit, you have 15 seconds of invulnerability. So it made this fight almost too safe. We got kind of complacent with it. And then we discovered that if you get hit while you're solo DK, he will 99% of the time actually drop a heart. I've never seen him do that before. Of course, I got good RNG. I'm actually better at this with bad RNG for consistency, so I'm actually going to just take a hit here and pretend I got bad RNG. That's a bad spot. I'm sure they're going to be making fun of me. I used to make fun of the other runners a lot for dying in this boss. Since I used to be really consistent at this, and just lately, I do not do as well with with good RNG on this fight as I do with bad RNG. There we go. I'm in position. I should be good here. There we go. Kind of a...
So if he doesn't drop a heart, you just have to take it a lot safer?
Yeah, that's the safe strat. What you're supposed to do if you actually have two hearts is you're supposed to kind of chill out below and do the same thing you did on the right side to start the fight. And it's a little bit faster, but for some reason I've gotten a lot less consistent at doing that when I have good RNG, so the safe strat is just chill out behind him, take the hit, and hope that he doesn't screw you over, because it's very rare, but it does happen where he doesn't give you a heart. My theory on it, and it could be totally wrong, is that there are bubbles on there that'll spawn hearts as well. And if there's a heart in one of those bubbles, my theory is that maybe that's when you don't get a heart from him, but even if that was the case, we can't control that, so it doesn't really matter, it's still RNG. Alright. This is my least favorite level in any percent as far as difficulty goes because the beginning's not too bad. That weird mistake, aside. But if you die in the end of the stage, it just throws everything off. So I tried to pogo there, and I still had Dixie, so I fluttered instead. So let's kill that guy. One of the cool things about this level in ILs is that there's actually two separate strats. There's a Cranky strat and there's a Dixie strat. The Dixie world record is only a couple frames behind the Cranky world record. And they were basically come up with completely different, like, they're totally different routes almost. So we kind of combine them a little bit into this. We do Cranky because Cranky actually, we end with Cranky because Cranky helps on the next stage. Okay, cool. Getting hit there is actually really important because it slows me down. If I go full speed through that, I'm going to get hit going through this section and lose Cranky. Okay. That last section's really difficult solo DK, and if you die, it's the easiest place in the game to death cycle. I believe my PB, I've lost like a minute there to just death cycling and falling into pits and random stuff, just because that ending is really dumb. And even worse than that, not ending this level with Cranky actually affects the beginning of the next level, because you want to start with Cranky to speed it up by a lot. It's something like 10 seconds lost on that stage if you don't start with Cranky. It's pretty ridiculous. So right here we got another auto-scroller. Another one of the Rocket Barrel levels. Not quite as easy as the one I gave to Farrell over here. So, if we have any people that like anime, I like to call this the Evangelion level because we have Penguin G. It's going to be coming out and trying to bop us. So, right here. Oh, no, not yet. So, something kind of cool about this level, all the con letters and puzzle pieces actually require you to avoid the hearts in the level. So yeah, there's Penguinji. He got inside the damn robot. Something I did to try to mess around, and this game allows you to play on the gamepad like most Wii U games. I actually was trying to do this level with an upside-down gamepad. It's one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do in this game. Just hold the TV upside down and try to do it. It completely messes with your head, even though I've done this level a gazillion times. For a while the community was trying, there's a glitch in this game where if you pause buffer the inputs to start the barrel, so when you jump into the rocket barrel at first, you have to mash A and B in order to take off. If you pause buffer that, the camera actually won't follow you, it'll just sit there like you never move. The music won't change to the rocket barrel music. It'll just like fly off and the camera stays there. We were trying to beat this level and get the IO world record while pause buffering that, so that like the camera would just sit there for the entire IL. If you just like fly through the level and then just like bam, hit the barrel. Unfortunately, this level has gates in it that keep you from being able to do that. So we haven't ever actually managed to complete one doing that. It's also really hard to do these when you can't watch them, unsurprisingly. So. Yeah, I missed the end. The end's in a kind of annoying spot. think there is... Yeah, there's exactly one more auto-scroller left in the game in World 6. It'll be another Rocket Bear level just like that. So right here, this is Fruity Factory. This is one of the cooler ILs because it's one of them where... in an IL, you can choose what Buddy Kong barrel appears. You can say, I want either default, which is a rotating barrel. You can say, or you can say, I want every barrel in the level to be a Dixie barrel or a Diddy barrel or whatever. This is one of, like, I think there's only like 3 ILs in the game that are like that. But it's actually faster to have a rotating barrel in this level. To get Cranky right here, and you switch to Dixie at the end, which is actually what we're going to be doing as well. So, I always love levels like that though, where it's the fastest way of beating the level is not using any individual Kong, it's about using every single one of the Kongs. Okay. Don't think I've ever bonked there before. How about that guy? Losing Cranky there is not a big deal. We're about to grab Dixie right here. It does mean that I don't get to pogo off the crunchal ledge, but I'm still going to stand on it for a little bit. So we call this right here the crunchal ledge. For some reason there's a ledge right there. And you can just stand on it. We don't know why it's there, it just is. And this is why Dixie is faster for the end of the level. It's pretty much just that jump right there. So. I'm trying to think, I probably have died in this section before. I just probably jumped a little bit too soon at the end. This is another spot you really don't want to die during. Panicky Paddles is an interesting level. If I do poorly on this level, we're going to be going to Jelly Jamboree. If I do this level properly, we're going to be going to Jam and Jams. This used to be another level we used to use the shop for, because it requires a secret exit, and Diddy, there's a good amount of water in this level, and Diddy's just that much faster underwater than Dixie. But it is possible to get to the secret exit with Diddy, so we don't have to use the no, get up there. Okay, we're already jamboreeing. That's one of the earliest jamborees I've ever seen. I was gonna let that explode for a second and realize that was dumb. Alright. point, it's a bit safer. With Dixie or with Diddy, that's a really easy section. You just blow your way over there. I'm not used to doing that with solo DK. Something the community started doing at AGDQ 2014 when we were just chilling in the back room was trying to go through these different levels with other Kongs. So we'd have what we called IL randomizers, where we would say, alright, we're going to do this level, but you have to use this specific Kong for it, which... And we'd have races, and we'd have like 15 minutes to try to put together the best IL time. And on occasion it would be interesting because you'd get one where it said you couldn't use a partner barrel at all. And some of those were either really fun or really awful. So, instead of doing Jam and Jams like you're supposed to do at any percent, we're going to do Jelly Jamboree. It's about 30 seconds slower. The bigger thing is this is also just a really janky level. It's full of a bunch of those spring-like platforms where if you roll onto them and if you do your boosted jump right after you hit it, you'll keep your speed. Okay, I'm gonna grab Dixie here. Weirdly enough, the IO world record uses Diddy here. Many people have tried to figure out exactly why Diddy's faster, but we don't really know. Our only guess is that there's something to do with how these platforms are spaced, where the little jump before the flutter is actually bad or something. You'll notice there is that little like section where she's just kind of doing her own thing, but we're not really sure. That's just what the world record holder uses is Diddy. Right here, we're gonna go up to the top of this and just roll into that. There's a lot of little time savers in this level, but okay, I could not find the Y button with my left thumb there to speed up the mashing. This missed the bounce there. That's a bounce you can use to skip that rope. So you can see it's just kind of janky because of all the stupidness with that. So regardless, we're out of there and we're going into this was kind of the level when I realized how cool the physics in this game could be. It's the first real ice level in the game. There's also... Ice levels by themselves aren't that cool in the game, but when you add in anything that will actually give you extra speed, this game goes really nuts, and you can do just some really cool things. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Cranky at the very start of this level. In theory, it would actually be probably faster for me to just stick with Dixie, but... normally I would enter this level with Cranky and it wouldn't be an issue, but... So you can see right there, I'm sliding down these slopes a little bit. So right here I'm going to pause just a little bit so this slides over, but it's also not going to spawn this section. Right here is the first section. You see you get that extra little boost of speed from the thing pushing you. Oh my god. That ate a roll. Wasn't turning there. You lose a lot of rolls in this game to turns. In that turn, the turn animation, it won't let you roll for some reason. So you'll see runners on occasion just have a dumb death from that, but that wasn't what happened there. I hit the roll button too soon. So. Okay. Sure. It's a lot easier when you have a partner right there. You see another little, the same boost right there. Those melons are bizarre. Sometimes they won't hurt your speed. Others they'll just kill all your momentum. We've never figured out exactly why it happens, it just does. A bit scary. Also find it really funny when you hit the barrel from the other side somehow. So right there I somehow got the right side of the barrel even though I was jumping from the left. Alright, so this boss is kind of the Ghoul02, that water level with all the keys of the boss fights. It's a lot longer than pretty much any other fight in the game. Yeah, on the IL leaderboards, you know, you've got all the different times. This is the longest IL. It's like a 3-minute, 5-second IL. The next longest is like 2 hours, or 2 minutes and 40 something, or 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I think. It's like a 40-second difference. So, in order to hit him, it's gonna give me a bomb right here. I actually got good RNG, which is nice. If he doesn't give you good RNG, you have to get the. He'll drop 4 boxes. The third or the fourth will hold a bomb. If the fourth one gets it, you have to get it real quick and hit him with it, otherwise he'll go into this jumping cycle. Since I got it the third one, he didn't finish that cycle, so he should go right here into pulling some more. Oh, that's right. I can say damage him 3 times. I'm not even counting my hits. This boss is really easy to just kind of go on autopilot on. The fight really just takes so long because he's got a lot of animations and stuff to go through. Fun fact about this boss stage, it actually rotates slowly throughout the course of the fight. Played this fight a ton of times before I ever found out that was a thing. Close enough. So, yeah, Cranky was very clearly inspired by Scrooge and DuckTales. He's got almost the exact same ability set. So I guess they figured old guy with the cane, might as well make him bounce on it like a pogo, I guess. So you can do stupid stuff like that. So the other guys can actually... Okay, I almost ran into him there and lost Cranky, that would have been bad. So the other guys can actually just bounce across them left and right. It's pretty... So, got good RNG on this. This last phase he's going to do, he'll drop it either on the first set of blocks or the third one. First one is obviously preferable. It's another one of the bosses where there is meaningful RNG. So right here we're going to play some baseball. So we got some fastballs. We got some fastballs. Got some fastballs. Got some fastballs. Here's a changeup. And here we go. Swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, 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 swing. Alright, let's see if he'll give me some good RNG for this last set. No. So yeah, I'm going to have to go through just a couple of them dropping these blocks. So, pretty average boss fight. So now we're on to World 6. World 6 is by far the hardest world in the game, which is a big surprise. It's based off of actually Donkey Kong Country Returns. So the plot of this game had us getting kicked off our island by the... they're called the Snowmats. Spike Vegeta, when he was playing the game the first time, thought they were just called the Nomads, so we gave him crap for that for a long time. But they kick us off our own island, and we have to go across these other 5 islands to get back to ours and take it back. But since we get back to our own island, they kind of just said we're going to turn this into we're going to base it off the original game. So every one of these levels is based off an entire world in Donkey Kong Country Returns. This is the most punishing level in the game if I die. So let's hope I... Okay. So from here on, I have to not lose Cranky here. This level becomes almost impossible. So... And you're probably wondering, like, why would you take that damage boost if it's so important to keep Cranky here? It's actually really hard to not take that damage boost, and it saves a lot more time than you would think. That barrel is really troll. You have to, like, wait a second, otherwise you'll just fire and kill yourself. So... Alright. And right. Whew. That level is absolutely terrifying. Spike Vegeta hates that level with a passion because he'll get there on world record pace all the time, or used to get there on world record pace, and then he'd die and the run just completely falls apart. There's one barrel at the very beginning. Once you get the, we call it the swag shot, if you die, there are no other barrels, and that level is really hard without a partner. You just have to play it slow. And the thing about that is that keeping Cranky through all of that level makes it where the beginning of this level isn't going to screw me up, because I'm used to the IL star for this level. So again, in ILs, which stands for individual level, we don't have a Kong to start the level. So you set the barrel to Cranky and you just go. In this one though, Cranky is not on cycle. So that is much harder if you have to try to time out the Cranky barrel. So, oh, that's bad. So, right there, going down that slope actually gave me a bit of extra speed because it was an icy slope. You just carry that through. Okay. I didn't trust that. I hit that fish really weird. Worked out okay. So, normally you would take a damage boost here and just jump in the water. Instead, I'm going to just grab the rope. Didn't think I was going to hit that penguin for a second. Okay, this is scary. I don't think I got that. Nope, I didn't. Dang it, I was really consistent at doing that in practice. It's a really dumb way to lose Cranky. Instead, we get to watch this nice little ship. I lost my speed there. What happened? Alright, I'll get another shot at that series of jumps then. It's a lot harder with solo DK than it is with Cranky. Cranky, you just pogo across the whole thing. DK doesn't get enough distance on its jumps to do it without Cranky. That should be good. That was actually, I think, faster than waiting for doing the entire thing, and that was a dumb death. That ship is really slow, but it's so inconsistent to do that solo DK that it's usually not worth it to kill yourself. So you can bounce off that guy and get on top. Again, much easier with Cranky with the extra height the pogo gives you. Without it, you just kind of have to hope for the best. Did not get it there. It also means we're going to be... we have what we call Diddy a shame, or Diddy's a shame in the community, where if you die and go into a level where Diddy is clearly not optimal, but it's like the developers realized about halfway through development, Diddy kind of sucks on land. So how do we make people actually use him? And they just kind of threw him in random levels. 6-3 is one of them. There's no reason to use Diddy here at all. Diddy's legitimately terrible here. But it's the only barrel in the level, so we're going to grab Diddy. And, we're going to get a shame barrel. This was actually, when I first picked up the game, this was the first level that I messed around with speedrunning. The music in it was one of my favorites at the time. Right now, my favorite is probably the 4-3 and 4-4, but 4-2 is really good too. Yeah, that's me being hesitant a little bit. So, dumb death, a little bit of rust coming through on that, but... It used to be fun when I didn't know how this game worked very well. I didn't realize that I found out like sometimes I would get a high bounce off that owl and sometimes I wouldn't. All you have to do is hold A when you hit him and you get the high bounce. But I had no idea at the time. I was just like, why am I sometimes not going far enough? So here's our Ditty of Shame coming in to save the day. So there's nothing Ditty does in this level that's actually helpful. Cranky is the fastest con here. Dixie can do some stuff as well. But with that extra height, you're just kind of rolling. So right here is the only spot that any con actually makes that big of a difference. Ditty and Cranky and Dixie can just jump up that. Ditty has to go across that. So, slide down the hill, jump into the barrel. So right here, remember how I said World 4 and Returns is kind of known for being a bunch of auto-scrollers, so World 6, Level 4 is just an auto-scroller. It is the hardest auto-scroller in the game. It's, there are no hearts anywhere in it, so if you take a hit, you're kind of sucking, so you gotta play really careful the rest of the time. So you definitely don't want to take that first hit early at all. I always make fun of one of my good buddies in the community. His name is Nansanobi. He used to die in auto-scrollers a bunch. So, yeah. Don't want to take that first hit early, ever. You know, really important. So now, because I'm being a tryhard, I'm actually going to play this a bit safer. AGDQ, Goldfish did the same thing where he just took a hit immediately. He didn't tell anybody he was going to do it, he just did it. So we were all just like, oh my god, you were crazy. So it's really not that difficult, but when you're going in front of 100,000 people for the first time, generally don't want to make things harder for yourself. So this level is also really annoying because there's actually some spots like that little tunnel right there. If you get bombed to the top, you actually can't recover the rocket barrel in time to actually avoid it, so you'll just take 2 hits and die immediately, no matter what you do. So. Is Farrell still here?
Sure am.
How do you feel about this one?
Seems like it's a little easier than you gave me.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh shit. That's what I get for being a tryhard. Oh yeah. I realized as soon as I was there, I was like, that's the wrong spot. I'm done. I'm dead. So I'm supposed to go underneath that section. Whatever, I'm having fun.
That's what DeuceCon's all about.
So. I'm sure I'm gonna go into the Skype group and they're gonna be all just making fun of me for doing that.
God, cool.
So, yeah, you go underneath here. There's not really room up top for going through that.
Any fucking new swag percent.
Oh yeah. So, another fun fact, I'm pretty sure both the world record holder and the second place time for this game have both died on this section, and we haven't ever figured out how they managed to do it. It plays like a minecart section, but there's like 2 jumps that actually matter in it. It's like those 2, and then you're through. You just have to literally just not be paying attention to die on that. That's gonna make this next level a lot more interesting. So, I'm pretty sure Cranky's not on cycle on this next level, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. 6-5 is the hardest level in the game to speedrun. If you watch the IL for this level, it's gonna look completely different from what I do. I did an abbreviated version of it because this level is absolutely ridiculous. It's basically the same as that popsicle level at the end of World 5, except there's just gobs of momentum preservation in this level. This is one of the most common run killers, and of course it's this late into a hour 40-minute run. Yeah, I have to wait. Wait.
So it's only 6 worlds, or?
Yeah, 6 worlds. Okay, here we go. Okay. Sometimes I get that. Sometimes he'll just go right under it and you can pogo off that snowflake. It's super sick looking strat. Didn't work in my favor this time. Alright, here is the second crazy momentum boost. That happens. If you hit that corner just right, it'll take away your speed. Nothing you can do about that other than try to recover it. I was too committed at that point. Alright, let's try it again. Went a little too low there. Alright, I'll play it safe this time and just grab it. Oh, that's not good. You know what? I'm just gonna take the death. There was a way to do that with Dixie. This level used to be done with Dixie all the way through before we figured out. We knew you could poke off those snowflakes. We didn't know how to make it actually usable in the speedrun. Eventually, forget who it was that actually figured it out. So, yeah. And of course, I'm pretty sure if I'd gone that time, I would have been good, but... So, the thing about this level is, outside of that section, it's incredibly punishing. Not done yet. Okay, that's a new one. Just... Oh god.
Slow go.
Yeah. You can see how this would just be absolutely terrible without a partner. I really didn't want to die in that last section. That section is no fun without a partner. Alright. Of course, that was the IL that I was practicing the most, and it was going so smoothly, too. I actually PB'd while I was here practicing it, so... And it just... did not want to cooperate for the marathon, which is understandable, I suppose. But if you do ever pick up this game, I highly recommend watching that IL. World record for a long time was held by Mumu Akai. I don't know if it still is or not, but it's absolutely ridiculous. You'll keep those momentum boosts for just so much longer. So this is the only silhouette level that we're actually going to see in the speedrun. Also has just one of my, probably still my favorite song in the game. It was in one of the early trailers, and I think I had that trailer on YouTube repeat for a couple hundred loops. I don't want to think about how many times I did it. but the main theme song for this game is just so good. So that letter right there is one of the most annoying letters, 100%. I'm gonna play that a bit slow. Basically, there's no way of getting to that letter without just going really slow. Grab it! Alright, I'll take that hit. Sometimes you'll get where DK will try to hop up on that one, and it just throws everything to pieces. Alright, I'll just grab these. Yeah, they had some of these in returns as well. They're not as common in Tropical Freeze. There's only 2 other ones I can think of off the top of my head. Returns 3D. Returns is a really cool game. Returns 3D is interesting. It actually, they had to have the frame rate to get to work on 3DS. It ran at 60 on the Wii and it runs on 30. One of the other runners of this game also ran Returns, and he's messed around with 3D some. Apparently there are some universal cycles that are actually changed for the 3DS version as well. I guess it couldn't load as much as the Wii could, so...
Sounds right. I'm not worried about learning it, so...
Returns 3D...
have frame rate, so...
The nice thing about Returns 3D is that it doesn't require you to waggle or roll, which is what everybody's main complaint with Returns is.
Oh, the shaking the Wiimote?
Shaking the Wiimote.
Oh my god.
It's really funny, this game doesn't have classic controller support either. You have to buy a Pro controller for it. I never figured out why. Wish you could, although I didn't mention this. I'm playing on the gamepad instead of on a Pro controller because every load is 2 seconds faster on gamepad for some reason. We don't know either. So that's called a Kong Pao, something they added for this game. Every time you get 100 bananas, you get the ability to kill every enemy on screen, and depending on what your partner Kong is, they turn into different things. Dixie turns them into extra hearts, and considering I have not had great practice runs in this level, I would like to keep those extra hearts. This is another level where if you do this without a partner Kong, it's just awful. I love this because if you hit that first owl, no matter what, you're good. It's weird. Okay. It's one of the more annoying jumps in the game. Playing it's really safe right now because I would need to keep 2 hearts on Dixie. It's part of the reason for that Kong Pao. So that damage boost saves a lot of time. Okay. I'm gonna lose Dixie there, doesn't matter. We're getting cranky in the next level anyway. Alright. So there's 2 levels left in the game. There is a Rambi level that is the jankiest, most annoying piece of crap level in the game. And then there's the final boss. So, remember I said this game doesn't have a lot of stop and go? This level is stop and go the level. There's all kinds of points where you literally just sit there and wait for the next part of the chain reaction to happen, because if you do anything else, you'll just jump into a pit of lava and die. So, and then on top of that, you have to have Rambi the entire time. It's the only Rambi level that I can think of where Rambi is not optional. There are giant blocks all over the place that only Rambi can break. Like those. One of the second best runner of this game will actually play I Need a Hero during this level for fun. Just a stupid thing he does. See, like right there, if I went, I would have died. There's just all kinds of little things like that in this level. It's not a hard level, it's just very easy to mess up on if you're like 2 seconds off PB pace and you just want to get rid of whatever your old splits were. Shoot, okay. A little bit sketchy there. That's what I was talking about. So here's another one. Just waiting for that to go down. Too early. Trying to do there is jump off as soon as possible. Then if you hit that in pogo, you'll break the thing holding it up. It's actually a really cool level thematically. It's kind of you going through and just wrecking all of the stuff that they built in your home. Yeah. Kind of what they did is they took over your island and they made it like all snowy and they were building like, you know, their own little ice buildings and stuff. This is the most annoying barrel in the game. I hate this barrel with a passion. Wait. Now go. If you fire early, you die. No matter what you do, the barrel blows up. You can't get back in it, so. It's so easy to just get over anxious on that barrel. Alright. This is the final boss in the game. The way Spike would always put this when he first was doing this was that this is an inherently easy boss that is really easy to screw up. It takes 9 hits, he's got 3 different phases, pretty standard DKCTF boss. But he's got some really janky hitboxes, and you have to deal with ice physics for the second and third phase. So, this fight also has a good deal of RNG. There's probably, there's at least, I want to say, 6 or so seconds of RNG. No. So, you can try to bait his movement and hit him while he's still moving. You always want to try for it at least once, especially in that first phase. Basically, you can get him into doing a teeter-totter animation, like he's about to fall over if you throw at him. Or you can just hit him in early. So now he's gonna chase me a little bit. The number of jumps he does there is RNG. He can actually do 2 more jumps than he did there. So now we're gonna need to turn all these platforms into ice platforms. So. Actually more difficult for this fight than you would expect, because positioning is really important, and after I hit him I do not have too much time to get in position for the next one. I don't usually go for early throws on this phase because as you can see, the 2 backup penguins are like right over on the side. No? A little bit off center, he dodged it. There you go. So right here, I want to be right in the middle of this. little bit further out. Right here, I want to be right here. Okay, cool. The second phase is the worst one to miss a hit on. So. This, I can, yeah. So there's a pattern where it'll fall, where they all fall from left to right. We call it Piss Your Pants RNG because they all fall almost simultaneously. It's like 4 seconds faster than the next fastest pattern. Position. Nope. Alright, so I got 2 hits there, so I'm going to go through one more phase. He's going to bring all these up again, see if I get... Yeah, not Piss Your Pants RNG. So he's going to blow his horn a little bit, and then he's going to run across again. Get strong. Doesn't really matter at this point. Okay. There we go. And time.
1:48:59.
Terrible.
It's a cool run, man.
Yeah. So, that was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I highly recommend, if you found this game cool at all, to go check out some runners that are a bit better than me. Pretty much every Thursday there's a weekly race. The top runners, trying to name a couple: Michael Goldfish, Moo Akai, Not So Newbie, Crunch, Spike Vegeta, all of them, Jock MS, all of them are just absolutely phenomenal at this game. They put in tons of work and hours into making this just a fantastic speed game, so hope you guys enjoyed it.